What are you doing in my truck? So I'm at Solo Gratia Farm right now, just outside the town of Alexandria. This is where a lot of our food waste goes. So I'm going to show you around a little bit. She's got some very personable animals here. Got some piggies, and they are super excited for their load today. I'm just gonna throw one in and see what happens. I might need to throw more than one in. Oh, they're so cute. And there's some more piggies over there, and there's some goat. Oh, and there's another goat up there. This is a really nice farm. Small and beautiful. So this is where all of the Alexandria / excess produce waste goes here. I want to show you a little bit about our buying strategy with Full Bellies, because what you're about to see may disturb you. Actually, it does disturb quite a few people, the amount of food waste that goes through a produce organization like this, and especially organizations who buy a lot of seconds, we'll call it. So I want to show you the mound of food that these awesome animals are getting to have to feast on for the next few days. Okay, so here it is. This is mostly melons and a few boxes of cleaned leeks. So the reason why, so this came off of 2 pallets from our number 2 order, and the reason why there is so much waste is because these boxes of melons cost Full Bellies $3 for 11 melons. So that means that there will be an awful lot of waste with that. The reason why they're sold off at $3 is because they have to move. And so the wholesaler is desperate to get rid of what they have going bad, and then we get a good deal. So as long as we're willing to sort stuff and bring stuff to animals and farms and stuff, then it's a win-win for many. There's not a trace of any melon left. Oh, now there is. Oh, he's got the whole thing in his mouth! Wait, are these girls? Are these girls? No. I love that. So as I was saying, like, it looks like a huge amount of food loss, but in all reality, if Canada-wide, the wholesaler hadn't sold it off to us for $3 a box, it would have been all thrown out. They don't have that kind of huge establishment doesn't have the means to, well, it does have the means, but they rely on the little guy like us to be able to rescue food, and that means there's more waste for us. Well, technically in tons, if we're speaking in tons, they probably have far more food waste, but in percentage, we probably have more food waste. But we're the guy who can get the rescuable food to people who can process it, and we can also get it to animals. And it is a good thing to kind of feel disgusted by the amount of food waste that there is, but that is not a Full Bellies issue or a small grocer issue or a wholesaler issue or a farmer issue. It's something bigger than that. Like, why do we hate ugly food so much? Why does the grocery store and produce markets have to have pristine fruit and vegetables? Why can't we be used to eating ugly food? Can you imagine if the standard was all markets everywhere had ugly carrots and melons with soft spots and like all of the blemished and beautiful food. It's a strange thing that we have segregated beautiful and ugly food when we're the consumer. If we were the ones growing the food, we would think differently. A farmer isn't going to throw out their ugly carrots. In fact, they're the ones probably eating the ugly carrots because nobody else wants to. And that's what I have faced as well as a small business owner is I've got mouths to feed, and guess what food I take from? I take what's left over. So rather than bringing home a few good melons, I will always bring home the ones that people aren't going to choose off the shelf of the store or one of the markets. There's too much pressure on markets and whatnot, produce distributors, to have pretty food. It shouldn't even be cheaper, you know, it's just a part of life. It's part of the cycle of things. My husband always said to my kids, if you don't finish your food, if you're way too full, fine, like we'll make an exception, but make sure you eat your meat. That animal died for you. And my rebuttal has always been, but what about the farmers who poured their sweat and time and hours into growing this food? It's a huge job. And then the people who move the food, like me, it's insane the amount of work it is, along with everybody else in the Full Bellies world who makes food movement happen. And we truly do save a lot of food, but it's like the tip of the iceberg. And so I do encourage as many people as willing to grab some ugly food. Ask one of the people at Cash, hey, do you have a box of ugly food or a bag of ugly food that I can take and process? We'll either give it to you or sell it for cheap, because we know that we have to process it and we don't have the manpower to do it. So if we don't have the manpower to rescue food, then it goes to the animals. And of course that's super beneficial as well, like I just showed you with all the farm animals that you got to see just now. But some of those melons had a tiny little soft spot that I know would have been rejected by every person. And if not rejected by every person, somebody may have taken it off the shelf. But people coming into the store and to the markets who see ugly food and don't like ugly food will not come back. Which, that's okay with me, because that's not the target demographic that I'm trying to reach. I'm trying to reach people who really need good food in their lives, wealthy or not. It's not exclusively for people below the poverty line, right? We need those with a little bit of extra money to keep us afloat. But it really does turn people off. Those who hate looking at ugly food will shop at a nicer looking produce market. That's why Farm Boy can charge an arm and a leg, because all of their food is so beautiful. They don't have 50% off looking stuff on their shelves. And I imagine they process all their ugly food because they have a huge amount of made in-house soups and meals and whatever, which is great that they're able to utilize. But they do pride themselves on that beautiful food, which is a standard that I'm not interested in promoting amongst people, amongst the consumer. I'm going to challenge you now. I challenge you to really look at the produce that you're selecting. Are you going for the most beautiful produce, or do you care if your pepper has a spot you need to cut out, or a cauliflower that needs to be shaved down a little bit, or a carrot that's a little limp? Ask yourself, why am I choosing what I'm choosing? Is it because it's the most beautiful, best item? Because there will be far more rejection of food if everybody has that mentality. But if everybody has the mentality of, well, what's a little blemish, then we will save so much food, so many volunteer hours, and so many paid hours at grocery stores and whatnot. Next challenge. I challenge you to ask the people around you, is this good? Do some research. Go on YouTube. Is it okay for me to cut off a bad spot on my carrot or whatever? Ask. Don't just assume. Last thing I challenge you to is to offer help, because a place like Full Bellies, where we're run by volunteers and everybody is tired out of their mind and stretched to the thinnest they possibly can be, we need people to rescue food. We need people to clean leeks and cut melons in half and cut peppers into stir-fry kits, and the list just goes on and on and on. And we need help with that. Otherwise, the animals get a huge bounty, which is not a terrible thing, but a lot of the food that you saw in this video could have been used for human consumption. The melons with one soft spot definitely could have been cut in half and used and enjoyed. So put your ideas in the comments, share your thoughts, and challenge yourself. Open your eyes, look around in the grocery store and see, what am I willing to help deal with, to help conquer this food crisis that we're facing of beautiful food versus ugly food.